I've been with CARE for a number of election cycles, and this year by far has been the most frightening in terms of the anti-Muslim rhetoric that has been spewed by numerous candidates, whether it be on the presidential level or even on the city council level, in order to win votes.
Samina, Dr. Carson has called for an investigation of your group. What's your reaction?
Well, thank you very much for having me. What our organization does is that we protect the Constitution through protecting our First Amendment and Fourth Amendment rights.
I look at CARE as that voice in the darkness defending Islam and Muslims.
The Bay Area Council on American Islamic Relations says the organization is receiving hate-filled emails that blame Muslims and Islam for the bloodshed in San Bernardino.
When it comes to anti-Muslim rhetoric and Islamophobia, there's nothing pretty about it. It's actually very, very ugly. It's not just the snide remarks that are being made or the glaring looks. I see it, with children being bullied at school. I see it with employees being harassed by their superiors that really indiscriminately target Muslim Americans.
People are afraid to go out, they're afraid to send their kids to school.
As a mother of four, my children will come to me and tell me, Mom, today a fellow student called me a terrorist, for example, or they'll mention ISIS. So it's changed the way I parent.
The Muslim Community Center in Santa Clara is stepping up security now in the wake of the shooting. The executive director with the Council on American Islamic Relations tells KRON 4 that some Muslim families are worried about how they're being perceived.
We've seen 79 attacks on mosques last year, and that has been the most ever.
I was hoping that you guys would answer the phone today and let me know where you're going to attack in the United States next, or perhaps in Germany. I know that you guys are terrorists and that you support terrorists. You people are disgusting. I wish that you were not in the United States, and you don't deserve to be here either.
After Paris and San Bernardino and the Islamophobic rhetoric that's been used by some of our presidential candidates during this election cycle, we've really seen an unprecedented spike in attacks against mosques and local Islamic centers across the Bay Area.
The FBI and Homeland Security have alerted mosques across the country of possible protests outside by a group called Global Rally for Humanity. The group's social media site is clearly anti-Muslim. Graphics on the site include rifles and a video, which we will not play, that shows a man shooting a gun at a Koran.
And then beyond the Bay Area, we've seen a spike in armed anti-Muslim protests in different states.
So CARE makes a point to be present in the community. And one of the ways that our office does that is every Friday we go to attend a Friday prayer. Members from our office actually go and physically attend a Friday prayer, and we interact with the community. We are not only informing them of our presence and the services that we offer, but we are also listening to their needs.
I'm always inspired and impressed by the CARE staff. They're so dynamic and powerful, and I really consider it an honor to volunteer with them and work with them on their projects. To me, they're one of the cornerstone organizations that help shatter the Islamophobic stereotypes and help break down the barriers one step at a time.
One of the programs that I manage here is the Muslim Game Changers Network. This is a 3-month social justice training program that is interacting with the youth that we're working with on a weekly and regular basis and giving them the tools to become empowered leaders in the community so that they have the skills to be able to talk to their elected officials about bullying that they're experiencing in their schools, that they can work with other communities of color on campaigns and coalition building, and so that they can combat Islamophobia head on.
I saw CARE as a tool to empower youth, and I joined the Muslim Game Changers Network, where I learned tools to combat stereotypes, to become a better person in the community.
It's very important to tell our own stories and to shape our own narrative, and we at CARE are typically the very first point of contact when press wants to cover a certain story related to Muslim American issues, and we're here to do that.
At this year's Muslim Day at the Capitol, we had 600 attendees from all over California go to Sacramento to advocate for civil rights and human rights legislation.
In the months leading up to the event, we actually spend quite a lot of time training community members on how to conduct efficient meetings with their lawmakers, how to lobby, and how to advocate for themselves.
CARE is promoting civic engagement through our voter registration drives, our candidate forums, and our voter guides.
When I think of our civic engagement work, the first thing that comes to mind is our efforts to register voters and events like Muslim Day at the Capitol. But what we're investing in now is continuing that work in 2017. It can't just be that we show up on election day and then don't pay attention for another 2 or even worse 4 years. We're going to meet with elected officials when they first get sworn into office. We're going to remind them of the promises they made at the candidates forums we held at the masajid. And we're going to continue to connect American Muslim voters directly to their elected officials so that they can advocate on issues that they care about. Not just Islamophobia, but also schools, housing, rent, the economy, and the list goes on.
With your support, my department is able to reach out to hundreds of Muslims to register to vote and to reach out to those who are eager to partake in the civic engagement process.
All of these resources together make up a comprehensive network of tools that empower our constituents so that they can be leaders in their community.
We work with many groups in order to challenge Islamophobia, whether it be the Jewish Force for Peace, or ACLU, or the Santa Clara County Coalition for Immigration Reform. We work together to advocate on policies and legislation that would impact not only the Muslim community, but on civil rights issues as a whole.
I have personally been involved with a lot of CARE's work when it comes to tabling at the masajids, anti-bullying workshops, know your rights workshops. Nobody else does that but CARE.
I support CARE so Islamophobia does not go unchecked.
CARE is right there sitting next to the little girl who was bullied at school for wearing a headscarf, making sure that the principal and the administrators at our school ensure and protect her safety, but also educate other students and about diversity and the importance of diversity.
The work that CARE does is vital to protecting the interests of Muslim Americans in this country. Growing up, we didn't have organizations that existed in protecting the interests of Muslims. We didn't have organizations to turn to when there was a hate crime or anti-Islamic rhetoric. It is the forefront of what it does in combating Islamophobia today.
We need to support CARE with the resources needed to develop and to implement a proactive strategy that allows us not only to defend our civil rights, but proactively solidify them.
If it wasn't for CARE, the Bay Area Muslim community would be at a great loss, because who would we have to protect our civil liberties? Who would we go to if we were discriminated at work or at school, or if our children were bullied? We go to CARE for that help.
As advocates for this community, we're putting our bodies and ourselves on the line for this work, and we need your support.
It doesn't matter who wins this election. Unfortunately, the anti-Muslim rhetoric that's been normalized through it will impact us for possibly years to come. CARE is your organization. It is your voice. You make our work possible. And we need it more now than ever before to challenge hate and advance justice for our community, for our children, for our fellow Americans.